said this before and I'll say it again. The real reason why Manosphere content gets banned is not because it's offensive. It's not because these guys are trying to protect women. It's not for that. It is because it causes minority, Black and Hispanic men to vote Republican. That is the reason why Manosphere content is banned. It is it causes, if you listen to Myron, if you listen to any of these other people, it causes them to vote Republican. Even if you don't agree with it, there is a political movement within the Manosphere. It is highly, highly conservative. It's more conservative than I am.
Right.
And that conservative movement is causing Indian, Black, Hispanic, Asian, minority men to all vote Republican.
Well,
that's why they're trying to put us off.
I mean, there's already I see articles on this. I see guys who are like in podcasts talking about this quite a bit. I think even Scott Galloway's been talking about this, is that there's a much broader, much more stark divide between like men and women. Like women tend to vote much more liberal and men tend to be much more conservative as it is in the first place. And I think that I think that a lot of the powers that be think that we're like, not that we are, but they think that we're exacerbating the situation. That's why I'm on a DHS watch list. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Again, it just never made sense to me because I was like, I just didn't understand, like, why are they making such a big deal about this? Like mid-tier content creators, and they're just coming after. Like, we're not that big.
You put Aaron Clary on that list.
Yeah,
what
seriously.
the fuck were you?
People that don't even have like 200,000 followers, and they're putting on watch lists. And I was realizing, it's because what it's doing is it's causing. Like the way it used to work for years, but going back to the 1960s, the Democrat Party is where the disenfranchised would go. It's like if you were disenfranchised. So if you're a minority, you would go to the Democrat Party. If you're a woman, you go to the Democrat Party because they would represent the other. They would represent the disenfranchised. What's happened now is since social media has happened, disenfranchised actually is poor men. Poor men are what's disenfranchised. What happened now, they can't find a wife. The number of men going years without sex is going up so exponentially high. And so what's happened now is these minority men who before would be like, well, I'm going to vote Democrat. They're like, having one wife sounds like a pretty good idea right now. The ability to raise a family sounds like a really good idea right now.
We're going to save the West.
Exactly.
Yes, so we're all going to do what normal people do and save the West.
If you want to know, like I truly believe if you were to consider you have a political movement, let's just say the Manosphere, if you call it a political movement, it requires zero funding. It's completely self-sustained. And it's actually converting people from one political party to another. Of course, you're on a DHS watch list.
Yeah,
of course you are.
I love it because I get it from both ends. I get it from the traditional conservative side, and then I get it from the really super liberal side right now. And both, I like the red pill and the Manosphere has just become the whipping boy of both sides of it. And boy, I cannot wait till November 6th, November 7th, when this is all over. Thank you. No more. And it happens in cycles. I mean, I've been talking about this since like probably, a year and a half ago. It's usually like an election cycle goes for 18 months now. It's no longer the year of. It's like it starts like 6 months in the previous year.
Well, it's because you can make money off it.
Oh yeah, especially now more than ever.
It's because now, like, you can make an entire career off just doing political commentary before an election, and when you realize some of these states that are swing states, how much money they get from advertisement, now it's just an incredible money making thing. Because
it's an influencer economy.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Yes.
Well, and then by the way, I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that Tenet Media is now being indicted by the Department of Justice for taking $10 million of Russian sort of influence agitprop money. So Lauren Southern, haha. And like the guys, Tim Pool's on that list, Dave Rubin's on that list. There's a lot of like really, you want to talk, they're top tier. They're up. They're certainly not our level, right? They're definitely like A-listers as far as this is concerned. And it's interesting to me. You were right. Yeah, you were freaking.
Well, I was right about the Russia thing.
You were right. Well, you were right about the Russian thing, but no, like when I got put on the when we were talking about how Progressive Victory which is a DNC PAC, a political action committee, is funding people like Destiny and Not So Erudite and some of these Jasmine Jafar, she's been on your show. She's basically copped to all of this stuff. And we were talking about this, and I was bringing this up, saying, these guys are like they're shills. They're shills for the Democratic Party. Yeah. And you told me at the time, you said, but there's probably like conservatives that are doing the same thing.
They're doing the same thing.
Sure enough, now here we are.
Yeah. So the thing is, I've been saying this forever. If you guys want a bunch of comments right now, just make a video and talk about how Russia is wrong for invading Ukraine, and you will get thousands of comments from bots and people who are paid by Russia in order to get on social media and try to change. Like their Kimzit missile was a failure. Their Sukhoi 57s are not stealth. Like they've just one drastic failure after another. I'm not trying to defend Ukraine here. What I'm saying is Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been just a horrible botched failure. And because that's happened, you start seeing, like, I get incredible levels of hate whenever I make videos about Russia and Ukraine, and especially since I'm on the right side of the aisle. I'm supposed to support Russia, which I don't. I grew up in the 1980s. I know the difference between Rocky and Ivan Drago. I know who the fucking bad guy is. It's not Rocky. Like, Russia is not interested in the United States' prosperity. I don't know how people forgot about that over the last 30 years. But anyway, I'm watching this stuff, and I kept saying, like, Scott Ritter, he can't possibly believe this nonsense that he's saying. They were supposed to invade the country in 10 days and it didn't happen. Why is he continuing to spout this nonsense? And then I was like, he must be getting paid.
He's making money off of it.
He must be getting paid. And then I found out
quite a bit.
$10 million, you people. It was so crazy because we would do these debates on whether or not Ukraine had the right to defend itself. And I was like, how can you possibly stand and say anything? So it is not a conservative or liberal thing. Whatever happens between Ukraine and Russia has nothing to do with politics in the United States. And somehow we got dragged into it. And I just think the whole thing is preposterous.
So a part of this whole thing, and we'll stop after this, but the part of this thing is like Tim Pool it's been said that he's been taking like $100,000, $200,000 per episode for this.
Yeah.
He says, but that's like the going rate. He's like, we get anywhere between 100,000 and 200,000 live viewers at a time. I'm like, well, if that's the logic, then like I should be making about $3,600, maybe $5,000 per episode of the Rational Mail when I go on.
The difference is
like,
my audience.
I don't see that coming in.
The difference is my audience actually votes. That's the difference. You should be paying me more. My audience actually has an education and votes. So I'm the one you should be worried about. All right. So